Hello everyone, today let's solve the problem number 1667, fixed names in a table. So what the question states here, we have to write the SQL query to fix the names in users table. So we have to write the SQL query to fix the names in the users table. We have the users table here, you can clearly see, which consists of the columns user ID and name. So user ID is of the type integer and the name is of the type varchar. So what we need to do here, we have to write the SQL query to fix the names in the users table so that only the first character is uppercase. So here suppose if the name is, just give me a second here, if the name is Manu, so if the name is Manu, only M has to be capital and other ANU, other letters ANU has to be small here on this case, right? So that's what we need to do. We have to write the SQL query to fix the names in the users table so that only the first characters is uppercase and the rest are lower case. We have to return the result table ordered by user ID. So they have strictly mentioned we have to return the result table ordered by user ID. Ordered by user ID in the sense we have to strictly sort this one in the ascending order based on the user ID. So this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this way, right? So I hope the question is completely clear. This is what the question states basically. Right here you can clearly see Alice, Bob we have. So this one here. So ordered by the user ID they have mentioned. So 1 and 2 you can clearly see. That's what I was speaking of, right? We have to sort the one in the ascending order. Here it is already sorted in this case, in this example. But although we have to sort for other test cases if it is not sorted, right? So in that case we need to sort them in the ascending order based on user ID. That's what they have given. Let's come to the example 1. Just give me a second here. Yeah, let's come to the example 1 here. We have user ID and name, right? So user ID is of the type integer and name is of the type varchar. That's what they have given in the question, right? So 1, 2, Alice and Bob we have. Accordingly with the question, first letter has to be capital and the rest of the letters has to be small. Here same for this one as well. So you can clearly see here we have got all Alice and Bob. So Alice here in this case we have Alice right here. This one Alice. So this one first letter A is converted to capital A here and the remaining this one LIC here, this one I'm speaking of, this is converted to small here. So 2 steps we need to remember always. First letter we are converting to the this one capital letter and the rest of the letters that is remaining, that we will convert them to the lowercase letters or the smaller letters, right? So same goes with Bob as well here in this case. B-O-B we have, right? So first step here is B. We will convert the B to uppercase and the rest of the letters to here in this case small. So this will be Bob, right? So that's what here based on the ID we have to sort they have given. This is user ID and name. These are the columns we need to return in the output. So here in this case when we sort, this becomes 1 and this becomes 2. So this is already sorted in this case. So if you consider other test cases, if it is not sorted, suppose it was 2 and 1, we have to sort them in the ascending order, right? So in this case it is already sorted, we don't have to care about this one, we don't have to worry about this one. So in this case now we got the output Alice as well as we got the output Bob, right? Along with their ID we need to return. So this is the output that we need to return, right? So I hope the question is completely clear and what we need to do is completely clear as well. So simple to understand, right? So what we'll do now, let's discuss the approach first and then let's finally write the query, right? First as usual let's discuss the, here the first step is we have to select the user ID. So we will select the user ID, we have to select the user ID, right? So let's directly select the user ID column, this one from the output, right? This is simple to understand. Let's move on with the second step here. In this case we have to format name, we have to format the name, right? In our case it was given Alice something like this, I don't remember exactly, but first letter we need to convert this one to capital and the rest of the letters to small letter, right? So that's what we will be making use of the upper of left name comma 1. This one we will be making use of this one. This is provided by the SQL upper left and this upper and left is provided by the SQL. Basically we'll be making use of this keyword. Why? Because we need to convert the first letter to capital letter, right? So that is what this states here. Name comma 1 means here we have to convert the first letter to uppercase. That is the reason we will be making use of upper left. Why left? This is the leftmost letter, right? Leftmost first letter, leftmost letter, that is first one. So that is the reason we are going with left, name and one. So the first letter, right? So to convert the first letter to uppercase, and we will be making use of the lower substring name2. Name2 means this one, LICE I'm speaking of. So this one, LIC, or this one, LIC. So from the second letter, we need to convert rest of the letters or all the letters to smaller letters. So that is the reason we will be making use of lower substring of name comma 2 in this case, right? To convert the remaining characters here, to convert the remaining characters to lower case. So that is the reason. So this is the very important, this is very important step. So basically this is what we will be doing. I hope this is completely clear. Sorry, this didn't show page 2 at all, like, so I was just explaining, and I'll just explain here. So we will be making use of the upper left of name comma 1, this one, just to add the first letter to the uppercase. So we have already discussed this one, just look into this. So we'll be making use of lower substring name comma 2. Why we are making this one? Because the rest of the letters apart from the first letter has to be smaller case, right? That is the reason we'll be making use of lower of name comma 2. So this one is to convert the first letter to uppercase, and this one to convert the rest of the letters to letters. So I hope this is completely clear, to convert the remaining characters to lowercase. So let's move to the third. So before moving on to the third case, we will combine them. So we will combine them using the, so first we will convert a letter to capital, and then we'll convert all other letters to small. So now we have a and list. Then we have to concat to create the formatted name, right? So we get whole name. So we have to whole as in this case for the example. So that is the reason we'll be making use of the concat keyword here. This is fine. So let's move on with the third edge case here. Sorry, third step here. Sorry, order. So we will maybe order by user ID. So we have already discussed this one, that we have to sort this one based on the user ID. Means we will be sorting that one in the ascending order based on the user ID, right? For that one, we'll be making use of the keyword order by based on the user ID, right? Based on the user ID. So this is what we'll be making use of order by user ID to return the result in the ascending order of the user ID. This one we have already discussed, right? So in this case, simple to understand these three steps: select user ID, and the second one is format name, the third one here is we will order the result. So these three steps, simple to understand. So I hope the approach is completely clear. As we are familiar with the approach now, it will be easier to write the query. Now let's start writing the query. So now let's start writing the query here. So the first step here is we will select user ID. Basically, why? Because we have to select the user ID column directly, if you remember the approach, right? So let's go with here, select user underscore ID. So this one I should have directly copied. This is fine. So we already discussed that we will be making use of the concat along with the upper left name comma 1 to convert the first letter to capital, and lower of substring comma name comma 2 to convert the rest of the letters to lowercase letters, right? So that's what we need to implement that one in the form of query. So I'll just give here concat of upper, this one upper of left of name comma 1. This one we have already discussed, right? So let me go with here lower to convert the rest of the letters to smaller letters here. Lower substring. So this lower substring, left, upper, these are the keywords that is provided by the SQL. You should be knowing that one, right? So name comma 2. And one more thing, if you don't know what are the keywords that I'm using, whether it may be select, whether it may be where, whether it may be left, whether it may be inner join, outer join, whether it may be regular expression, whether it may be lower substring. So if you are not understanding that one, I have already, so I have the GitHub repo, MySQL notes or something like that. You can just search for MySQL, right? You'll get it, where most of the things are explained clearly. Most of the keywords of the that the SQL provides is explained clearly accordingly, right? Along with the regular expression, left, whatever the keyword it may be. Some of the important keywords that we'll be making use of, and how to make use of it and when to make use of it. So that one is clearly explained. You can just check my GitHub repo as well, right? So here let's continue with the query name comma 2. So this one, so somewhere I did a mistake here. Just give me a second here. In this case, lower comma 1 here. This one left, I have to close this one here itself for the left, right? So this one is for another one. So let me delete this one bracket here. This is fine now. So this one we are considering as name. This is fine, easy, right? This is coming from what table here? Users table. So this is coming from users table. So let me copy this one here and let me make use of from, let me paste it over here, users table. So if you remember, the last step was we have to order based on the user ID. So in the ascending order. So as we are sorting in the ascending order, we don't have to mention this one ASC, right? So you can just give here order by user ID. It will automatically sort an ascending order. So I'll just give here order by user underscore ID. So this one, let me write this one in the next line. So this one will be easier to understand, right? So this is it for the query. So let me hit the run button. So here you can clearly see the sample test case is getting passed. So let me hit the submit button. I hope this works for all the test cases. Let's see. So here you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed. Means the query works absolutely correct on this case, right? So I hope whatever the query that we have written is completely clear as well, right? For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.